Have you ever had a night when the world felt a little too loud, yet somehow you felt invisible? Maybe you were waiting for a message that never came, watching the screen of your phone stay dark. Maybe you were in a room full of people, but felt like a ghost, present, yet unseen. That moment of quiet can sting. It feels like being forgotten, like you don't matter as much as you thought you did. But sometimes the moments that feel the most like an ending are actually the beginning of something far more powerful. Because hidden inside that silence is a voice you may have ignored for years, your own. At first, silence feels like an enemy. We reach for noise, scrolling, chatting, filling the air with anything to drown out the emptiness. But stay with it for just a little while, and something begins to change. You start to notice your own heartbeat. The thoughts you've been too busy to hear start to speak. And in those quiet minutes, you begin to realize this is not loneliness. This is discovery. The great psychologist Carl Jung once said, solitude is a font of healing. He wasn't talking about hiding from life. He wasn't praising isolation. He was pointing to a kind of solitude where you finally stop performing for the world. It's the kind of quiet where you meet yourself without masks or makeup, without the need to impress or entertain. The ancient Stoic philosophers discovered this truth long before Jung. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who carried the weight of an entire empire, wrote to himself, be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. He knew storms would never stop coming. He didn't pray for calm seas. He trained to stand like the cliff, unmoved. Another Stoic, Epictetus, gave simple but powerful advice. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. He meant that your strength isn't in arguing or convincing. It's in living so fully and so authentically that you no longer need to announce who you are. Your life becomes the proof. When you stop trying to be understood by everyone, something amazing happens. You free yourself. You stop translating every bruise into a story for the crowd. You stop performing for approval. You let feelings rise and fade without putting them on display. People may misunderstand your quiet. Some will call you distant or cold. Let them. Their confusion belongs to them, not to you. Real strength doesn't need a stage. This doesn't mean you stop caring about people or that you turn to stone. It means you save your emotional energy for what really matters. You choose when to speak and when to simply be. And in that choice, you discover a different kind of power, the kind that doesn't depend on applause. Think about the people you admire most, not because they are loud, but because they are steady. A grandmother who listens more than she talks. A mentor who never brags, but whose actions carry weight. Their influence is quiet, but it lasts. That is the strength of someone who has mastered themselves. Rejection begins to look different too. What once felt like an insult starts to feel like redirection. A closed door stops being a wall and starts being a signpost, pointing you to a path that was always meant for you. Silence stops being scary and starts being a workshop. a private place where you can build a life that won't collapse when the crowd goes away. None of this happens overnight. Self-mastery is built in small, invisible steps. It starts when you switch off your phone for an hour and just sit with your thoughts. It grows when you take a walk without headphones, letting your mind wander without distraction. It deepens when you write in a notebook that no one will ever read, capturing the truths you're not ready to share. Try this tonight. Write down one thing you did today that nobody else saw, a kind action, a small success, a moment of patience, and keep it to yourself. Notice how it feels to hold something valuable that doesn't need an audience. That small, private act is a seed of real strength. Little by little, you'll notice a shift. Your decisions will stop revolving around being noticed. You'll care less about how many people approve and more about whether you stay true to your own values. Others will feel the quiet gravity of someone who doesn't chase validation. It isn't arrogance, it's steadiness. You'll still care for people. You'll still love, but you'll protect your inner life the way a gardener protects the roots of a tree. Not hidden out of fear, but guarded because it is precious. The world will continue to be loud. It will keep demanding your attention, pushing you to prove yourself, to shout, to compete for every scrap of recognition. But you will have learned something the noise can never teach, that the truest power is built in silence. So the next time you sit in a quiet room and feel that ache of being unseen, remember this: that quiet isn't emptiness. It's the space where you meet the strongest version of yourself. The world may never clap for that version. It doesn't have to, because when you master your own mind, when you stop needing the crowd, your presence speaks louder than any shout, and it will echo long after the noise has faded.